This lesson is on charting. In spite of all the new features, great new features, still the most important part of charting in Excel is understanding what it is you're charting and what it is you need to select before you start. You can't just ask for a chart and expect Excel to know what you're trying to do. These are my employee numbers here. So, of course, if I want to chart my employees' production, I need to first select my employees. Now next, if I want to chart their average production, I would need to select their average production, of course. So leave everything else alone. I'm going to use my control key now and define that I only want my employees and their averages. Very light, hard to see. I'm sure it's going to be hard to see in the video, but right now this is darkened and this is darkened. So that's all that I've selected, nothing else. It's really important that you select properly before you chart anything. Having done that, it actually becomes quite easy from here. You go to Insert and you go to the Chart tab here and you specify which kind of chart do I want. Now, when you're starting off, column charts and bar charts are really the two most popular, followed closely by pie charts. We'll do pie charts next. So I'm just going to go with a column chart. And you've got lots of choices here. Keep it simple initially. So just a regular column, or maybe we'll go a 3D column just to make it a little bit fancy. So I'm going to keep this lesson as simple as I can. I'm going to go just with a regular column chart, and it dropped it right in the middle of your sheet, which is a little silly, but you're able to very easily move this wherever you'd like. That's the first thing. Now, there are three tabs for charts. There's Design, Layout, and Format. We'll stick with Design for now. You're able to very quickly and easily change the color that you want for that. Next, you have these predetermined chart layouts, which are kind of neat. You've got different styles here. So that's the basic style. And unlike other features in this new version of Office, it's not giving me a preview if I put my mouse on it. So I'm actually going to have to click and turn one on to see what this looks like. So here it added a title. Here, so they all look a little different. This one gives you a lot of stuff. This one here gives you the opportunity to put a title on the left-hand side and a title down below. Now, unlike older versions, now maybe if I would have selected my labels as well, my labels would be going in there automatically. Let's try that. I'm just going to select this chart and delete it, and we're going to start over. Let's start with that and maybe grab these as well. And now if I go to Insert, Column, I'll do the same type of chart. And now I've got, it automatically called this average, which is new. So now if I ask for this, a fancier layout that's got the titles, it still didn't pick up my Access titles automatically, which would have been nice, okay, because this I would have to change now. So you would type that in yourself, saying that you want this to be production and that you want this to be your employees or employee numbers, let's say. So these are rather neat though. They format your chart very quickly. They make it look very professional in a quick manner, depending what it is you're looking for. So I like this feature already. Next on this Design tab is the ability to move your chart location. Now, oftentimes I prefer my chart to be on a sheet on its own, and that's how you would do this. You would say go to another location, and now it's asking you which sheet do you want it to be on. Do you want it to be in sheet 1 or in another sheet, or do you want it to be a brand new sheet? And oftentimes that's what you want, is a brand new sheet. So now this chart is taking up a sheet on its own. So it's going to be much, much larger. Lots of room to do all kinds of things. Now I'm going to go to the next tab, which is the Layout tab. And here's where you get to define things. So if you want a chart title at the top, you can say, yeah, I'm going to want a chart title there. Or I want it above the chart. So now it's going to make some room and go above the chart. Here we don't need a legend. So I'd be able to click on it and delete it manually, or I can come here and say, I want no legend. So it turned it off for me. And as far as my labels are concerned, I can say that I want them or not want them. Okay, I can change, if I go to label options, I might be able to change the color and the size, that kind of thing. Okay, or very easily just type in here what it is I want it to be. So you've got your data labels, your access title, your titles, okay, that you can change and access from here. You can ask for more grid lines or less grid lines if you want. So that's your layout tab. Lastly, you've got your format tab, which allows you to do some cutesy fancy things with your chart if you wanted to. Again, not giving me much of a preview here, but it's allowing you to change my shape. Okay, so it's allowing you to format different things in your chart. So here I have my chart selected, so it formatted the whole chart. So lots of neat formatting options that we never had access to before, allowing you to change the look of your chart very easily and very quickly. Here you've got different word art styles. So I'm going to select my chart once again and see whether it's going to give me any previews or not. Oh, there we go. So it's not giving me previews, but if I select one or select an area, it will change that area. So now I've changed it for my whole chart. So feel free to experiment with these. You've also got the ability to change the size. Now, if this chart were still in another sheet, I'd be able to change the size of the chart this way. Or you can also simply click and drag to make it, to size it the same way you would regular clip art. I'm going to go back to our first sheet now, and we're going to create a pie chart. So here, once again, I'm going to use my employee numbers, but I'm going to use their averages, their totals as opposed to their averages. So this way I can make a pie chart and see who's contributing the most. Now, because they're all quite similar, my pie chart's going to have a bunch of slices almost all the same size. So I'm going to come here and go to pie and maybe ask for a three-dimensional broken pie, and there it is there. And as I guessed, there's not much difference between the sizes, but we can see how employee 4 here is producing quite a bit more than employee 5. And I can move this, again, I can move this chart this way, and you can size it, as I was talking about, this way very easily. Now this chart came with nothing, it's got no bells and whistles on it, so you can add things to your chart as you go. Again, you can use your chart layout thing here and find maybe something that looks appealing, maybe something with percentages. That's a nice, fast, easy way to ask for those percentages. I'm going to hit undo and show you of a longer way that you can do the same, just so you know. So here you'll be able to choose different styles as well, as far as the aesthetics, the way the colors and that kind of thing. You'd also be able to move it again to another sheet. We're going to leave it here for now. In layout, again, we can ask for a title. I'm going to bring you to labels, because here we don't have any labels. So with a pie chart, I like to have my labels in the outside. Okay, but here I didn't really want the numbers. Instead, I wanted percentages. That's really what I was hoping for. So I'm going to hit undo, and I'm going to go back to layout here and go to labels, and then maybe go to more data label options. And this brings me to this window where I would say, rather than the value, give me the percentage. Because it is a pie chart, I like to see the percentages, and that's usually what you want with a pie chart. So you can go close here, and now we see which slices represent which percentage of total production. So as we had mentioned, this one looked a lot bigger than this one. Well, yes, this one's 12%, whereas this employee is only contributing 7%. So there's a big difference there. So I like percentages when using pie charts. And again, I found that in data labels, and I had to ask for more data label options and ask for percentage, which was very helpful. I might also want the legend here to be at the bottom. So you can go to legend and you can ask to see it at the bottom if you would prefer it there. It takes up less room. It fits better with this particular chart. So those are some of the many options you've got within charting. But just remember, the most important part of charting is how you select your data. You need to select your data properly, otherwise your charting just isn't going to work right. You can't not select anything, and you can't just randomly select everything, because it's not going to know what it is you want to chart.